Okay, so in previous class we were discussing about one application. So something we already built yesterday. This was the application virus app, and this is the project structure. And so far we have created two entities or two model classes. Patient, which is we are creating this class as a primary class. And next one is passport. So we can have one-to-one relationship there to show you one simplest mapping existing so far, right? So it's just a one-to-one mapping, and this was the table patient and passport. So that's from passport table, and that's from patient table. And yeah, of course, see, it's like we are not going to enter passport details, in a singular way, right? We have to combine these class together. When we're entering patient detail, there might be a scene that we want that patient passport. See, there are kind of scenarios that when patient does not have their passport ready, right? So we can do that, like we are just entering only patient's detail, not his or her passport detail. But when it comes to password, you cannot just enter password randomly. So mostly when we create endpoints for password, so it's going to be mostly for update or getting the list. Maybe your password is going to expire, so in future you might add some more columns here, like expiry date, from which country the passport is legit, where we are going to travel, what kind of passport you have, like either it is started or not, like any visa is confirmed on that password or not. So we can add multiple columns here. So in that case, we can have multiple columns, and then the APIs we are going to build around this password table can have all these details except post, because post creates data, right? So it's hard to implement in real scenarios that you are going to add just passport detail, but whose passport, right? So that doesn't make any sense. It's not a government website which takes care of all the password detail. So okay, apart from that, you can create all the endpoints for this passport table. But we did that yesterday to show you like how it works. You can create post request for patient where you are entering patient detail plus passport. You can also, if it is really required that you want to enter only passport detail, yeah, it's possible. You can create one post request for passport as well, and that we have done through this postman. Why it has conflict? Get one. That's one big thing. Okay, so far what we built is this. We have a patient ID, name, and all this basic stuffs, and this is what I created. And up to you guys, create this endpoint.
स्वागत है
Next
जो
was
आपको एक
passport class,
हरित
and
और
we already
वित्तीय
created.
ऊर्जा समाधान प्रदान करने का
I have created
सिद्धांत अपना रहे
post mapping for
हैं। जी
this
हाँ
class.
गाइस, और अब
This
एक
was your
सीमित
task.
समय के
I
लिए
hope you are
लिमिटेड
already
समय के
working on
लिए
it.
घनप्रिया एनर्जी एक
Next,
घोषणा
the
करती है।
original idea
जी
is
हाँ गाइस, क्योंकि
initially
केंद्र
that we
सरकार
need
से
to
एक
implement
अनूठे
this
सब्सिडी
design,
ऑफर आपको मिलने वाला है।
patient and
जी हाँ
virus.
गाइस,
So
ये
we have
सब्सिडी
completed
ऑफर
the
आपका
left
कुछ ज्यादा
section.
ही पैसा
Now
कम
we
करने
have
वाला
to
है, तो
implement
इस
the
वीडियो
right
को
section, which
अंत
has
तक जरूर
virus
देखिए।
and
अगर
some
आप
basic
हमारे
detail,
चैनल पे नए हो तो
and
चैनल
then we
पे
will
एक नजर
add
डालते हैं इस समय की
virus
सब्सिडी
as
योजना की विवरण के
one-to-many
बारे में।
relationship with
इस
patient
समय
class.
के
Good
लिए
thing is we
हमारे
already have a
चैनल पर
patient
एक
class.
विशेष
We just need to
समाचार है।
create one more
केंद्र
entity,
सरकार द्वारा
virus,
प्रदान
and
की
then we
जा
will see
रही है
how
एक
to
नई
perform
सब्सिडी योजना के
one-to-many
बारे
mapping
में,
with
और
this
इससे
class.
आपको जरूर
So
जुड़ना चाहिए।
let's
आपको
start
दी
with
हुई एक
this
बहुत ही
simple
बेहतर बल्कि
implementation. We are going to create a
बहुत
new
लाभ और
model
ज्यादा
class.
करें
And
और
yes,
इस
if you are
सुनहरे
going to
अवसर
create
का
any
लाभ
model
उठाएं।
or any new class, you
घनप्रिया
need to
एनर्जी
perform all
भविष्य
the
को ऊर्जाशाली
basic,
को किस अगर आप
stuff like creating
1000
its
रुपए,
DAO class,
इट
service
मीन्स
class, controller,
कि
DTO,
1
everything you have to
किलोवाट में
do
ही
repeat, and
आपको
of course mapper
लगभग
as well. So
33,000 तक
today's
का
class we
लाभ
are going
होने
to
वाला
repeat
है।
the same.
और इस
So
हिसाब से
let's
इन
do this
सारे
quickly. Going
पैनल्स
to
को
create a
आप
Java
देख के
class
अंदाजा
for
लगा
this
सकते हो कि आपको कितना ज्यादा प्रॉफिट होने वाला है।
virus,
तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा सब्सिडी का फायदा उठाने के
and
लिए आप जल्द ही सोलर
then
पैनल
get
को
3
जरूर लगवाएं,
fields.
क्योंकि घनप्रिया एनर्जी सोलर
Let
पैनल
me
छत
take
पर
some
बहुत तेजी से इंस्टॉल हो रही
extra
हैं।
here.
अब ये बात तो मैंने आपको बताया है कि ये
Just
ऑफर
3
केवल
files.
लिमिटेड समय के लिए, तो इसलिए मौके को छोड़े नहीं,
Plus
तुरंत
tested.
घनप्रिया एनर्जी
So
से
ID is
संपर्क
fine.
करें
Then
और
name,
पैनल को
and then next
इंस्टॉल
was
कराने के लिए
variate.
आवेदन करें और आज ही इस अनूठे सब्सिडी का
You guys are
फायदा
free to
उठाएं।
use or
घनप्रिया
add more
एनर्जी का
columns.
ये टोल फ्री नंबर
Entity
011693 ने भी सब्सिडी
net
पाया हुआ
table,
है, लाइक 30%, 35%,
name,
लेकिन अब उससे भी
call
ऊपर,
this
उससे
virus
प्लस में
underscore
आपको 25% तक की
then
एक्स्ट्रा सब्सिडी मिल रही है। तो है ना ये
let's
हमारे लिए
implement.
बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात।
Get a setter.
तो देर ना करते
So generate, get a setter, right? Still we are not using Lombok library. You guys have to try that and let me know. So we can fix that in next class. In next class we are going to remove this getter setters, and we will use Lombok library. Okay, so this class is ready. ideas auto-generated. Great. Let's copy this class, but please don't do that. Create your own class, and I'll paste it here, and I'll call this virus DTO. What I just did, Control C and Control V, and okay. This is the class, and since it's just a DTO or Pojo class, we don't need these special annotations. Okay, class formatted. Looks fine to me. Close other tabs. So virus class, DTO class is ready. Now next thing is we need to create its DAO class, right? So new Java class, and let's say interface, and I'll call this virus DAO. And enter, done. Let's mark this class at repository, and this class extends JPA repository, right? Angle brackets. We need to give the type of model, which is virus, and the primary type is log, right? This is done. Great. Now let's create its service file. So right click on service folder, then new, then Java class, then interface. Call this virus service. Okay, done. Again, we will what do you call that? Insert that single method public virus DTO, which will create record. So let's say save virus, then DTO is passed, and then. And of course, in next class, we will also see how to perform mapping in different ways, like using some third-party libraries. So you don't have to write that much code for mapping. That will be much easier, but that will override all the basic stuffs. Thing is, if you're doing it manually, that's good for you to learning some basic stuffs, because when you start using libraries and other features, you will never got to know what exactly happens. So always write your code, then start using these extra stuff. Okay, by the way, this is ready. Now let's create its IMPL, this Java class, and virus service IMPL, done. Then implements virus service, and of course it complains. So let's implement that single method we just created inside service, and use this service to let Spring Boot knows that this is service class. Okay, and that's over it. Fine, we will fill this later, but before that, let's create its controller. Right click, new Java class, virus controller. Yes, we need to create extra class, make it rest controller, then public. You already know that we have response entity, so we can use this. I'll use response entity here. The type would be API response. We already created this class, and then create virus, and it takes at request body virus DTO, done. And of course I need to auto wire that service layer, so make it private virus service, that interface, then create its reference, then connect auto wire. That is done. Now I just need to create one instance of API response equals new API response, then need to fill all the details. So set path, we still don't know how to fix, maybe today we'll do that as well. Error, because we are treating that we will handle all the errors in that exception class, that global exception. So here error will be none. If we are in control, that means everything is handled. That's how we are going to treat. Then status, here we'll say http status dot okay capital O dot name, right? And that's how we call it. Bracket, done. Then API response dot set visit date timestamp, new date, done. Then API response dot set data. In this case, we have to get that response from the service layer. So before creating this object, I'll call that method virus service dot save virus, pass the DTO. Once everything was fine, it will give me virus DTO object. I'll hold it here. I'll call this response virus DTO. Once it's done, I'll pass here data, and now looks everything fine. So response empty dot OK dot body, and pass that API response here. And okay, so and of course return that. Okay, so we are done with the controller. Now big thing is service layer. This is empty for now, and we need to create segregators, right? Like moving data from DTO to entity, entity to DTO. So we need to create a mapper. So right click, new Java class. We call this virus mapper. Okay, then we need to create two methods, two static methods, public static um, virus DTO to DTO. It takes virus entity or model class. Done. Now let's create object. We need to return virus DTO, so let's have it here first. Whatever you have to return, always create its object. Remember this thing. My method's return type is virus DTO, so always create its object first in first line. Take it in your habit. Then DTO done. Unless you are expecting something like in a response, then you will create object. So your first step should be create that object. Once it's done, start setting up. DTO dot set ID and virus get ID and DTO dot set name, get name, DTO dot set variant, and virus dot get variant. Okay, done. And once you're done, return that virus object. This is the basic thing. Of course, you need to handle sometime null things as well. Okay, this happens that you are going to handle null case scenarios. So for now, just for saving some time, I'm copy pasting. But again, don't do that. Try to write your own code. DTO, DTO. So now I have to return virus. So return virus, create object of virus class, not DTO. Done. Now I'll take things from here. It goes here. Okay, done. Looks fine. Okay, now going back to service file, and our service file will be really easy, simple. So idea is we need to call DAO layer, and for that we need to auto virus DAO class, virus DAO auto. Then first of all we need to say create object of entity, so I can call virus DAO dot save. So we need to create that virus object. Then we have to call that mapper class. So virus mapper dot, oh, both are to DTO. It's to okay. To entity virus DTO is passed. We have the object. Now I can call virus DAO dot save that virus object. And once it returns object from database, that this data is saved. That's how save works. I'll call this db virus. And then we say convert it back, so I can have the response back to the controller. So call this response equal. Now I call virus mapper dot to DTO, pass this db virus, and then return that DTO response DTO thing. Okay, return this and done. Okay, that's it. Our code is ready. But one thing is missing, that we haven't mapped this class in patient, right? That's a big thing we are missing. So let's do that as well. Now time to combine virus class with patient class. So what we need to do, we have to create one more reference here. Okay, so it's going to be like private um, virus class, then this, then we need to tell this Spring Boot that we are using this mapping. So we need to say at one to many, one patient with multiple virus. That's the idea here. And again, if you are saving primary objects, so you need to save the other object as well. So again, we will use cascading. I hope you guys are going through this topic. If not, try to go that as soon as possible. This is important. Cascading. Okay, this is done. If you are adding any field, make sure you are generating getter setter and toString if you want. I want both. So right click, generate getter setter. There is virus, create, and then generate toString. ToString is not required, and sometimes I needed them, so I always create them in my project. So patient is done. Now need to do the same at virus side. So I'm going right because that's a bi-directional mapping. That's what we have learned in Hibernate. So private patient patient done, and here I will say which annotation at Manitoba, right? And I'll tell that this cascading, not cascading, I'll say this is mapped by or okay. For now, let's leave it. Little see. Okay, so we have this patient. Generate data setter. Have this as well. Okay, and if we are doing this, so definitely we need to handle this case in mapper because virus is fine, but once we are trying to sorry, not in virus, patient mapper, because now patient has virus as well, right? So we need to fix its mapper class. Patient has passport, now patient has virus class as well. So after doing this, let's improve the mapper. So time to create virus, DTO, virus DTO, then virus DTO dot set ID, and I will get that from patient dot get virus dot get ID. Okay, likewise we'll say virus dot set name patient dot get virus dot get name. Now virus dot set variant and patient dot, you have to be very cautious what you're doing here. Always focus virus dot get variant. Okay, now we're done with virus as well. Now we have to set this field in patient DTO. DTO dot set virus, and that field we are missing in patient class, so let's add that here. Say private. Now you guys you have to be very cautious, right? What we are doing here. See, just one entity and you are changing at multiple places, right? So always remember what place we have added and where to add that. Okay, this is done. And let's skip toasting for now and set virus TTO, and virus TTO goes here. Now likewise we have to do for entity. Okay, so time to create object of virus. This time virus entity is and insert new virus, then virus dot set name, and I'll call that from DTO. DTO dot get virus DTO dot get name. Now virus dot set variant patient dot get virus dot get variant, and once it's done, cut this code, paste here. That's for patient setting passport. Okay. Now let's say um patient dot set virus dot object, and then pass this virus object. Okay. So whatever we have done for password, same thing we have done for virus. Okay, looks fine now. And let's go back to virus class. Okay, this is fine. Virus and fail. Uh-huh. So again, see, we are not going to use directly virus for now. We will go through patient object, fine? Because once we save patient, so patient information, patient's passport information, patient virus information we have to give in create request. That's the idea. So you can see it's getting complex, and in future we'll make it more complex. Fine. So let's try this one. It's working or not, then we will move forward. So going back, no, before that I'll show you the table structure, right? So let's run the code and see what happens. So application running, because we don't have this virus table yet. We just have passport table and patient table. So I've executed the application and we are getting error. Let's see. Oh, of course. It's a one to many, right? And if it's one to many, I completely lost it. We need to create list of virus, not just virus. It's a list of virus. And same thing happened in at every single level. Oh, guys, okay. Things are getting serious, okay? Why? Because not just this place, we need to fix it at multiple places. Okay, virus test. Because it's one to many. And if you're doing this, so that means you need to change this whole structure. So we need to spend some more time on setting up this space. Okay, so that's getter and setter. Yes, correct. That's the idea. It's one to many, right? That's because we have multiple patient viruses. Okay, so let's close other files and let's show you where I'm going to change. So now it's list of virus. It's one to many. And then if it's right this way, so we need to fix mapper first. Okay. Once we are done with entity, we need to fix on DTU. It's not just virus, it's a list of. Okay, and you will see how serious it is. This is complex. Okay, this is complex. If you're not paying attention, it will become more complex for you guys. Virus DTU list. I'm intentionally calling it list, right? So you will know that it's a list. Already lots of things are going around, so focus. We are dealing with list this time. Okay, list is here and it's done. Now done. Now let's fix patient mapper. Now you can see we are getting error, right? See, we have error because it's not just one, it has multiple objects. So what we will do, we will create a for loop here. Fine, for loop. Then left side always it's going to be virus. So DTU. No, it's going to virus object, entity object. Virus this colon, and here I'll call patient dot get virus list, right? This is done, then bracket goes here and this, and I have to create a list of what do you call the DTO, list of virus DTO. Let's create new array list here. Now it start reading data from here virus, so I'll copy, replace this. We already getting virus from patient on line number 28 here, so you don't need to worry about that. So virus can get all the information, and once everything is in virus DTU, I'll call this object here. I'll call this DTU dot add and add that virus. Yeah, virus DTU and semicolon. And once everything's fine, I'll copy this list and pass it. It's not just a virus DTU, it's a virus DTU list. Done. Okay, so because we are expecting list from where? From database. So patient dot get the list, and one by one we will fetch every single virus details and fill it here, return it back. Same thing we have to do here. So we start with for loop, for, and this time we have to keep uh, patient DTU. DTU patient DTU. Sorry, my bad. Not patient DTU. Virus DTU. Virus DTU colon patient DTU dot get virus DTU list. Okay, body starts, body close. Then we are expecting a list of entity of virus type. So list of virus object, virus list equals new array list, then this. So now it has data, so copy, no more patient required, patient details required, not now. And here it goes virus empty. Okay, let's list is here. So it's a virus list dot add, and virus object goes here. Once we have virus list, we can use that list right here. But we need to set virus list, and it goes this goes away. Okay, so we just fixed the mapping for many stuffs. And okay, so let's run this code again and let's see if something comes up or we are able to run the code. So code executed, and let's verify the database. Refresh all. We just have still two tables, patient and passport. And here I can see one more table is there, one for list, one for virus table, and some primary key and foreign key mappings. So that's great. And if I go back, refresh all, we can definitely rectify it. For now, let's have it this way. So virus has all the information: ID, name, variant, and patient ID. And here parent, patient and virus information. This is for keeping primary key and foreign combination. And if we check this table, so we have ID and this. So where we are keeping like all the information of the patient inside virus. But thing is, I don't want this way because I want to create connection from patient end, right? What we have here, ID, this passport, but we should have a virus ID here. That is missing. So what I'm going to do, and this is quite inevitable because we are in development phase. We are still, because I'm teaching you, so that's why I have done this way. Otherwise, it should be well designed. Okay, initially we will keep this kind of information. So, but my idea is I want to keep all the IDs on patient table because I want to treat this class patient as a main primary table. So what I will do, I will drop this all tables and let's see whether it happens or not. Otherwise, we'll continue with this approach because if I do the changes, you need to do multiple changes for you guys, and that will complex the things, which I don't want, at least on this stage. So right now, all tables are deleted, and let's run this code one more time. Yep, we lost the data, but not an issue. We can always generate it. So we are doing this from the scratch again. Okay. So 3-4 tables get created, multiple mappings. There are tables, 4 tables are here. And let's refresh the database, refresh all. Let's have a look on table. It's not making it. Did I miss something here? Let's check virus class patient. But we have a third table, right? So we can use that as well. Okay. Multi-variant list virus. If we go to virus class, we'll do one. Okay, fine. Okay, for now let's have this, otherwise I need to change the whole design again for the tables. So let's keep it this way. So we have passport table. Let's go through the tables again. Passport, which just has two details. Then patient, which has all the information plus passport ID. Then third table, which keeps the mapping of this, which we will rectify it, and I'll see if I can do some changes, small changes, and we can get back to that all the information inside patient. But for now, let's keep it this way. And there is all the information of uh, virus, and plus they have the patient ID here. So okay, we can have this design as well. Totally up to the designer or the how what architect wants. So that is fine. Okay, so application is up and running. Let's go back to the Postman, and now we need to change this, design for 7 patient, because this is okay. This is for all the information of patient and passport. But what about virus information? So for virus, let's check the structure. This is virus class, which and whose name is um sorry, not here, patient DTO. Sorry. So patient DTO is here, passport DTO. Now we need to create virus DTO list. So I copy this thing, put a comma, double quotes, list, and this is what, it's a collection, guys. It's a collection. So colon and then square brackets. Fine. And now every single collection is what type? Object type. What's object type? Virus. There it is. So there's the body of object. What it has? Name and variant. So one is here. Affiliate letter. Next. Next. Variant. Okay. And let's create one more object of virus. Just so let's say flu. What's the variant? I don't know. Let's say flu 1, 2, 3. Cold. Let's say cold. Cold 5, 6. Okay, that's just random variant. But our request is ready. Now you can see our request is growing. Earlier it was just this, then we added earlier it was this, then we added passport. Now we have a list of this, and we don't need comma, so remove it. Beautify, looks fine. Let's hit the request and see what happens. Request sent, and we have an error. Method not allowed. Which method? Oh, this thing. Fine, let's hit this again. Request sent, and we can see some good message. Okay, looks fine to me. You can see we have all the information. IDs are there. That means it's generated. ID 111 because we have deleted the tables. And let's have a look on database. So start with passport. Start with patient first. That's the information. Okay. Passport ID 1. Let's refresh or execute. That's the passport number. Let's check the virus table. Refresh. We should have 2 records. There it is. And patient ID is missing. Okay, we will see what's missing here, and then if we check this, we should have also some information. We are missing virus table mapping. That means entity type mapper is missing here. Okay, we missed something in mapper class. Okay, and this happens, so let's fix it. So we're going back to entity. There it is, and mm, 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 patient. Okay, we are using virus class, but using this class mapper. Entity. To set patient here, and this list. What's this here? Of course, virus needs patient as well, so we need to add one thing here. Say virus dot set patient, and then we will do this here. Okay, and then it goes in list. When stop the server, because it's a one to many mapping, and but it is bidirectional. If It is keeping record, so I'll also keep record that way. So let's clear all. So let's run. We need to give, if we are giving information of virus to patient, so same thing we have to do with the virus as well. We have to give all the information of patient to virus. So that's what we did here. Setting patient information for virus class. And we have done this in previous class as well. So nothing new. Let's check it's fixing or not. The application is up. Let's change some information. That is for patient. Okay. Okay. Fine. Let's hit the request and send. Okay, I did 2, 3, and looks fine here. Let's check the database. So patient is here. Fine. Passport detail is also updated. This is also updated. We should have 2 more records. Patient ID 2 is mapped with 3 and 4 of virus list. And if we check this, now we have the patient one. See, so it's working now. See, yes. And this is just, again, as I said, this is just a same concept we have implemented in Hibernate. If you are giving information of, let's check here. If you are giving information of virus to patient, so same thing you have to do here. You have to give all the information to virus. So our framework will understand, okay, so these classes are mapped. So if patient can keep the information of virus, so virus also keep information of patient as well. The class I'm talking about. So that's why the ID was missing. So what I just did, this thing, okay, you need to do this thing. You have to set both information because it's bi-directional relationship. So in bi-directional, both should have the information. So this line will add that primary key in database. So earlier it was missing, now it's here. So I'll just manually do this thing. Date finish. Okay, but never change your database in real projects till tab is fine. But if you go further in your other regions, no, never manipulate your database information unless you are really sure what you're up to. Yes, this line I have added here. Giving all the information. See, till here we have all the patient information, his password information. So patient class is almost ready. The only thing I was missing, virus. So this is the virus. So we have all the information of virus here till here, and then we have added patient class. Okay. So loop is going on. It will set all the information. So virus will keep all the information of patient in one object, and list will keep everything. See, virus is done. Then we are adding every single information in list, and list its respect to patient. So both are moving concurrently, you can say. Okay, so this was the mapping for this class. Okay, so this was um, CRUD operation for patient. Let's quickly add one more operation for virus because we have endpoint for virus as well. So let's add new because it always messed up the things. Post. Oh, I think I missed the endpoint. Now we are going back to virus controller. Is that it? At post mapping, that will be virus. Okay, so it's fine. Can be virus. Then we need a body. So I'll copy from here. We already have multiple objects. Copy it from JSON, paste, verify. Okay, I just want to add only one object. And this is the class for DTO. We have ID, name, and variant. I'm talking about DTO. Fine. ID is not required, and we have name and variant. Let's hit and send request and see what happens. We have, okay, that's success case. Fine. That's the data. But why its ID is 0? Okay, let's check what we missed. It's fine. We missed the mapper again. See, in response, if you notice, we don't have ID. Everything's fine. And you can see data is in stored. Of course, we didn't give any information of patient, so this should be null or empty. But in response, we are getting ID 0. So it's a default value. So let's check the mapper, virus mapper. Because we are just talking about mapper only. 2DTU. Virus is here. Cat ID is here. We're already setting it. Uh, uh, okay, let's check the service file. Virus service file. Yes, it's fine here. And it goes back to controller. This is the controller. We're calling it this response, then setting it. Where is the data? Oh, what we're setting? Sorry guys, it's my mistake. It was supposed to be response validity, not this one. This I Everything was fine. Mapper was fine. I just used validity. It should be response validity. That's why I always focus. You see, as I change a variable name, so I just saw this quickly that I have mistakenly added this data. Okay, never mind. It will work out this time. It is done. So requesting one more time. Sending request, and now we are getting ID 6. Okay, looks fine because earlier it was record 5. This is 5. Refreshing, and here it is. Okay, and definitely see, I'm speaking, I'm typing, I'm thinking, so this happens. You guys have to think and type. You don't have to speak to someone that I'm doing this, right? When you're actually working. So this will happen. Not a big issue. Okay, so we are done with basic stuffs and we are able to do CRUD operation from patient side and plus from virus side, right? Now let's add one more feature and then we will wrap up the class. Feature is I want to fetch. We already know how to fetch details from ID, right? I'm not going to create that endpoint for fetching details from with the ID. You guys can do that. Now what I want to fetch detail with something else, not just with ID, but with something else. Maybe the name, right? I want to fetch something from with the name. That's quite convenient. And what you guys have to do? You have to go to um, DAO class, virus DAO. Okay, we are learning some custom queries. Not exactly custom queries. It's a JPA file, you can say. So how it works? We'll say public return type should be always your object type. Public. So I'll say virus because we are expecting one record when we say name. And then now notice what I'm going to do. When you fetch anything with ID, what we tend to say find by ID. Find by. Then ID is your column name. Likewise, I can say find by name and use string name and done. Since it's an interface, you cannot give the body. So just say this much. And you know what's the cool thing about it? You don't have to create its IMPL unless it's really necessary. Of course, you can do that, but in this scenario, you are not supposed to give any implementation. JPA knows that, guys, focus. Find by is kind of a reserved word. It says, okay, find by. Now you have to mention your column name and make sure that you are using camel case. Why I'm using NAME? Because in virus class, now I'm talking about model class, we have a column or we have a field name. But here it is small n, NAME, and that's the Java works. Java says, okay, you want to create a variable, go on, but start with small variable, small letter. Then you can use camel case if you want. Same practice should be used here, and you cannot redefine it. So just follow the same pattern, or you can say convention. Okay, what we're using here, method name, come on, by convention. Okay, so that's a simple convention. So, or convention, you can say convention means rules. We're just following some rule which says find by is a reserve keyword and this is just your column name. Okay, I'll discuss in more detail, but for now let's use it. So need to create one endpoint. uh, let's do this quickly. So public, again we are expecting everything like this way, so I'll copy, paste. Why not this one as well? Of course we'll use get mapping. We are supposed to get something, so get this and slash. I will use this name. Fine, like we do id, this will become path variable. This is going to be string type. Let's see it works or not. Okay, and it's not create, it's get virus by name. Totally up to you what name you want to give. And I missed that if you are working in DAO, so start with service, not with the controller, because you have to call all the methods. We don't have those methods yet. So virus service here, going back where we started. Sorry. Okay, and this will take string of name. String name, let's say get virus by name. Now we need to fix its IMPL. There it is. Given methods get. Okay, and then we need to call virus stuff dot find by name. There it is. Pass the name, and this will return you virus object. So let's see, did we get that or not? There it is. And once it gives the data, we need to return in DTO format. So I can use the same format. Copy and paste. Okay, TP virus. So we'll keep it virus. Done. Okay, looks fine. So our service, or you can say logical section, is done within 3 lines. Now in controller, we'll call that method. So no more save. We say get virus by name, pass the name, and semicolon. Everything is already handled on service file. That's it. So we have a one endpoint, one more endpoint. Let's try to see it's working or not. So requested. In the meantime, let's save the previous thing. Virus app. We call this save one virus. Save done. Create one more endpoint for get. Copied, pasted. Here I'll say FLU. No more body, nothing. So it's fine. Let's cross check it's up and running or not. Okay, yep, it's up. Let's hit the endpoint. Request send. And here we are getting. Can you see, guys? I am getting information of flu. That method is working. Nice. Let's check some more values like corona. Okay. Now let's see what happens because we have 3 objects. Okay, we are getting error. So it's not working the way we want, right? We were expecting 1 record, but we got 3 records. So you guys have to fix it, okay? Check what it says. Query did not return unique result. 3 results were returned. So it's your call how you want to fix it. Either put a constraint that you cannot have duplicate virus, but that looks bad to me. No, you should not do that because we have mapped multiple viruses with patients. So you are allowed to have this thing. Or change your whole implementation. Instead of getting 1 record, tell this explicitly that I am expecting multiple viruses. As of now, what I just wrote in DAO class, let me know if you're not getting it. Right now, what's our implementation? Just 1 virus. Find by name. And what I'm expecting? 1 virus. But that failed because in database we have multiple viruses with the same name. So you have to change implementation. List of virus try करिए बिल्कुल. Try this out. है ना? ये आइडिया समझ में गया how it works? Find by name. In case if you need email, so find by email, but make sure you are using camel cases, right? In future, hmm, हाँ, right, right. और अगर नहीं होगा तो फिर आप उसको हैंडल करिए. You were telling me that you didn't get any way to create this exception. Now I have a find by name. Now in future I can create one exception, right? Which says virus name not found, right? This could be a case. So you can handle that here. You can create one more exception. Virus name not found. And then you can go further. Handle that scenario. Throw the exception, that error is not found. Sorry, virus not found. So in service file, I can add one more line here. If this object is empty or null. See, there are multiple implementation can be done. Is equals to null. Hmm. So return null. So instead of null, you can throw exceptions like we did earlier, right? In service file. So that's it. And likewise, you can create multiple methods. Find by name. So what other fields we have? Find by variant, but we should be capital, right? And okay, just give me 2 more minutes, then we can wrap up. So this was the method we used. Okay, so we have variant here. If we have variant, so how we can do that? Simply you have to write find by capital V. So how it's working? It checks that what's your method name, variable name. Sorry, what's your variable name? Find by is kind of reserved keyword. Variant is your column name. Here, find by is a reserved keyword for JPA. We call this JPA queries, and this is name. You can of course write your SQL queries as well. Okay, it's possible. You can do that. We will learn that as well. Okay, don't worry. We will learn that. Kind of reserved. Okay, it's not always. I'm just because you're already familiar with this term, so I'm using this term. It's not officially said. Okay, they are reserved keyword. It's class field. This is also class field. Find by small. This is keyword. This is class field. This is class field. And what's our class field? There it is. Virus class. These are the class fields. Okay. Okay, so that's how it works. I hope everything is clear. If any question or doubt, ask me. Lead. Hmm. राइट. यूआई पर कैसे लिखोगे? हाँ, बिल्कुल लिख सकते हो. नहीं, हमेशा नहीं होता. कॉम्प्लेक्स होती है काफ़ी चीज़ें. काफ़ी कॉम्प्लेक्स होती है. थिंक अबाउट if you have to use multiple joins. Let's suppose we have 3 4 tables and you need to fetch details from every single table by using join column, join constraint. So that will be really tedious by using JPA. So if I have to do that, I will write custom queries. Okay, JPQL और तो बता तो रहा हूँ नेक्स्ट क्लास में कवर करेंगे. क्यों टेंशन ले रहे हो? कहा तो वो भी कवर करेंगे. करते हैं. डोंट वरी. सब एक साथ नहीं, धीरे धीरे खाओ. पचेगा अच्छे से. वरना पेट खराब हो जाएगा. ठीक है, तो ना टास्क है कि जितने भी एंड पॉइंट्स इसमें होने चाहिए बेसिक, वो पांचों बनाओ. अब अपने को ये भी पता है कि हाउ टू क्रिएट कस्टम क्वेरीज, जेपी क्वेरीज, एक्चुअली जेपी क्वेरी. तो वो ऐड करिए. जैसे मैं बात करूँ, patient class key. So what we have name, email, contact number. So you can use find by email, find by contact number, find by name. याद करिए. Same for patient. Wrong class. Same for patient here. अरे passport, sorry. Say for passport, say find by passport number. So here P will be capital and N is already capital, so you don't need to do that anything. So it goes like find by capital P passport and then number is already a capital. And we already saw name and variant. So just check your model class. Model is base where everything revolves around it. Like treat this guys, treat these model classes or entity classes as your son. Every single panel revolves around some, right? Same way, all these packages, surveys, mapper, exception, DTO, DAO, controller, they all are revolving around this model class. So you have to very focus on this class. What's the fields, how you have to map them. So you have to decide only then go for and create two tables. Fine. And okay, so we have learned this thing. In next class, we will fix this code. Still, I can see multiple issues here. One is Lombok. This is quite tedious to generate getter setters, although IDE supports it, but still not a good way. It looks so messed up. Like why you have this field? What think about if you have handed fields here? Handed fields will have how many? Think about getter setters. 500 lines of you will have them. So that's not a case. So we will use Lombok, and then we will reduce some piece of code from mapper. Passport is simplest, so that's why it looks easy. If you go to patient mapper, it is growing, right? It has lots of code. But think about if you haven't added these mapper classes, you have to write every single line again in your service file. That looks really bad. So okay, so two things we have to fix, Lombok and plus we will figure out one library which will make these things easier. So you don't have to write that much code. So if you can see, we have almost 60 lines. So we'll try to reduce it to 40, 45, or maybe 30, half of it. But again, in next class. So add all the endpoints in next class. I will check your system. Only then we can continue. Otherwise, take your time and do this stuff. Still, you have 4 5 days. So complete it, and let's meet next class. Bye bye.